Welcome, everyone. My name is Karen King. I work in the Office of New Haven Affairs at Yale University. And welcome to our December 2022 monthly breakfast. Our office hosts these breakfasts on the first Thursday of every month during the academic year. This is the last one for the calendar year. And happy holidays, everyone. I have a few announcements before we get started. First is a talk that is coming up on December 3rd. It's hosted by our Pathways to Science and Pathways to Humanities program here at Yale. This program is open to students in grades 8 to 12. The title of the workshop is Humanities Now, a Study of American Freedom. It's going to be held in person on Saturday, December 3rd from 10 to noon at 17 Hill House Avenue. It is a study on the famous speech by Frederick Douglass about the 4th of July. Registration is encouraged by tomorrow. If you have any questions, all this information will be in the chat. It's free, open to high schoolers. I really encourage you all to check it out and to encourage the high schools in your life to attend. Next, as you may be aware, and I'm sure I mentioned, Hilton Als has curated a number of series at the Yale Center for British Art. The latest installation is by Indijeka Akunyili-Crosby that is going on now through January 22nd. She has wonderful work. And Mr. Als himself will be speaking on Tuesday, December 6th about this collection. He's going to be at the Yale Center for British Art at 5:30 on Tuesday, December 6th. It's a hybrid presentation, so it will be in person and will be shown via live stream. Next, some outdoor fun. So on Thursday, December 15th, from 5:15 to 6:15 in the plaza next to the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library. The brass ensemble is going to be returning for an outdoor concert. So please bundle up, bring some hot chocolate in a mug and come out to the brass concert. It promises to be a fantastic concert. And there are many, many, many more activities that are taking place around downtown. There are ice carving competitions and demonstrations, strolling carolers. You can take selfies with Santa and Mrs. Claus. There will be a coat drive, a huge a cappella concert on December 11th. This is taking place. Oh, and another highlight of these events is the tree lighting that's going to take place on Thursday, December 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. on the green. There are a ton of events. I could go through all of them and take up a lot of time. I will not do that, but I will put all of this information in the chat so that you can check it out. And we hope to see you outside and there. Now, on to our wonderful speaker this morning. Rubén Rodríguez is the director of the Yale School of Music and Schools Initiative in New Haven. He studied trombone performance at the Conservatoire National Supérieur, I'm messing up the French, de Musique et Danse de Lyon, and received his master's in music from the Yale School of Music. For more than 30 years, he has been performing, teaching, coaching, conducting ensembles, and promoting music education worldwide. He has created and coordinated several artistic projects in underprivileged communities, bringing music into the lives of thousands of children. He lives here in New Haven, near the shore, with his wife and 3 sons. Please welcome Rubén Rodríguez. Welcome, Rubén.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karen. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Some soccer fans in the audience? Wonderful. Me too. Colombia didn't classify, but the US is doing great, so I am happy. Anyway, so thank you for the invitation. I am honored to be here to share with you a few thoughts about my work at Yale, but also reflections around that connection between music and community. So the presentation will begin with music and is structured around 3 stories. The first one is a little short version of my music life from when I was 3 years old. This is my first memory. The second one is about some of my students in New Haven over the years and what they are doing right now. And the last one is kind of a surprise, but let's begin with the music. Okay. The question that I would like to propose about this performance is, please keep in mind what you feel about this. What is the feeling you get, the state of soul that you develop while listening to it. Great. So I will begin with my story, and I will tell you later what was this piece, the context of this performance, and why this is so meaningful and relevant for this conversation. And everything is about 3 different and related situations, all of them connected with music, that have been helping me to reflect on the relationship between music and community during this month. So the first thing is a memory I have when I was 3 years old, baby, basically. And it was at the living room in my great grandma's house. It was a Christmas family reunion, and somebody placed me at the center of the scene and asked me to sing a song that my dad and my brothers were teaching me during that week. The song is The Little Drummer Boy. In that context, my brother began to play guitar, I began to sing. And maybe that's the first time I found my voice in the middle of my community. I knew that I was accepted, loved, understood. Somebody was taking care of me. But this moment that I could open my mouth, sing, and share the gift of music with others was maybe the moment I realized I was connected with a bigger community, and I have a space with them. Then it was my first ever gig. It felt great, and it jumped to the next step. And I joined the local music program. I began to learn how to read music. I began to receive music theory lessons. I taught myself piano, and I began to be part of children's choirs and adult choirs. I was a first soprano in the adult choir till I was 10. And that deeper experience, I will say, gave me opportunities and privileges to enjoy art at a level that school couldn't give me. So my community got bigger. Then the core activities at home for my family in this order were music and playing soccer together. I am the younger of 8 siblings, and soccer has been a big thing at home, but music is bigger than soccer at home. And my brothers they created a salsa band. They were needing a percussionist, and I joined their band when I was 10. During those years, I was playing Latin percussion, and then later, my brothers needed a trombone player in their band. So one of my brothers brought to me a very old, ugly trombone, and he told me, okay, you have 3 months to play this thing. If in 3 months you are not playing, I will take it away from you. And yes, 3 months, challenge accepted. I was playing trombone with my brothers, and that was my high school life till I ended college. So I was playing salsa all my teenage years, studying classical music, and sometimes I was the same day at a concert with a symphony orchestra, then to go later to play at a party till 3 a.m. in the morning playing salsa. No conflict at any level. I was enjoying everything, and it was amazing. The community was getting bigger and bigger, that music community. And during that time, I began to teach my first students. So I remember at the age of 15, beginning to teach some kids trombone. And later in college, my trombone teacher left. And for 3 semesters, I was the teacher of my classmates till the university found a replacement. And that series of unfortunate events became a blessing that began to train me and gave me passion for sharing what I have received. When I ended college, I won a scholarship of the French government to go to study in France. It was a 3-year scholarship. I was in Paris first and then Lyon. I was exposed to an amazing world of musicians, top-level performers in a highly competitive environment. I was immersed in a completely new culture, including not only language, but also social dynamics and, of course, food and wine, which was amazing. And I carry with me proudly till these days. And I met some of the most amazing musicians I have ever known. And on top of that, it was my first experience as an immigrant. At the end of that process, I decided I needed to go back to Colombia to give back to the students, to the people there. It was a painful decision because somehow I had guaranteed to stay and to build a life in a first world country with a bunch of opportunities in front of me. I decided the hard way to go to Colombia to teach kids who didn't have the same opportunities. I started a trombone studio in a public university in Bogota. It all began with one student. His name was Jaiber. And then 3 years later, I had 54 trombone students. All of these kids were coming from underprivileged backgrounds, many of them coming from little towns all over Colombia. It was really expensive for them to come to Bogota, to live in Bogota. And it was a really sobering experience to be part of the life of these amazing artists. The Ministry of Culture in Colombia at that time began to sponsor me to go to different regions. And I began to travel around the country to help music teachers and band directors to develop more robust music programs. I was teaching them how to teach, how to practice, how to play brass instruments and different skills that were not available in the communities they were living in. With later on, with some of my most advanced students, I created what was called the Coro de Trombones de Colombia, which means Colombian Trombone Choir. And I invited my friends, my composer friends, my arrangers friends to begin to write for that ensemble. We built a very interesting repertoire of Colombian music and Latin American music for that ensemble, and we organized a whole set of concerts during a period of 6-7 years around Colombia. And internationally, we went to Argentina to participate in a trombone festival down there. But we were playing everywhere, from the streets in Bogota to museums, to concert halls, to universities. We went to jails, not Yale, but jails to play for the community there, music festivals, hospitals. Everywhere was a good place to share music. Everywhere was a good place to bring what we had. At that point, I had my own tribe of trombonists, and that felt amazing. And my students, had a space to create, nurture, and develop their dreams. Some of them in music education, some of them in performance, classical music, some of them in jazz, some of them in salsa and other Latin ensembles, and others in music production. At that point, the program was relevant enough, and Yamaha Latin America endorsed me to begin replicating that program in different cities in Colombia, not only Bogota, but also in Panama and Guatemala. From that generation of trombonists, I already mentioned all of them from underprivileged communities, and some of them the only kids alive of their high school generation, because the rest of the kids who were not involved with music got involved with narco gangs and got killed at some point in life. Some of them coming from literally living in the jungle. One of my students, his dad's job was to hunt anacondas. And it sounds hilarious, because how do you think that's a job? But yeah, he was hunting anacondas to get the skin to sell it. And all of them found a path in life through music. And right now, for some of them are really successful teachers or conductors. Others created strong and meaningful arts organizations in different places in the country. Others are music administrators doing great job. Others have very promising careers in performance. Two of them, right now that we are talking about the World Cup, two of them are members of the Qatar Philharmonic. And one of them has been for the last 3 years a guest musician with the Berlin Philharmonic. That's mind-blowing to me. That's amazing. I am in touch with them. We share all the time text and WhatsApp communications. By the way, the Berlin Philharmonic guy, a month ago, he became a dad, so that's fantastic. His son Mateo is a month old. His wife is from Argentina. Is beautiful. And this community, it all began at my great grandma's living room. Now, at that point, with my family, my wife, we were considering to have a break, a productive break. Then that was the moment I applied to the Yale School of Music, and we came to the States. I got my visa application rejected. And by a miracle, at the very last minute, I finally got a visa. When I was a student, I was talking with one of the officers at the OISS. And she told me that in her experience, only 2 people at Yale got their visas rejected. One of them was a Chinese student whose name was exact name of a terrorist. So they couldn't confirm that it was the terrorist or the student. So he got the visa rejected. And the other one was me. So I felt special. Finally, I got the visa and I got here to have my master's. When I got to the School of Music, I discovered the Music in Schools initiative and I began to work with the program. It all began again with one, a 5th grader, a trombonist at John C. Daniels School. His name is Joel Molina. He got married last year. And from that one student, it grew to a before school program. I was working as a teaching artist. I was studying my master's. And then that before school program, any student who wanted to play music joined it. And in that before school program, I had Jocelyn Hernandez, and now she is the music teacher at John C. Daniels School. The school she was studying in middle school, my student now, she is a music teacher. And also Jesus Cortez was part of that before school program. I will talk more about Jesus later in this presentation. For the first time, after that before school program, for the first time, John C. Daniels had a concert band. So it began with Joel, then to the before school program, then to a concert band. At the end of my master's at the Yale School of Music, Dean Robert Blocker invited me to be the lead teacher of the New Haven programs for the Music in Schools initiative. It was 2011, November 1st, and then I began in this role that I have today. I would like to talk a little bit to let you know what Music in Schools is. So the class of 57 in their 50th reunion got together and they established the endowment that created Music in Schools. Music in Schools have 3 main elements. One is the Symposium of Music in Schools. Professor Albert Lee is the person in charge of the symposium. We have the visiting professor, music education, and our visiting professor is Sebastian Ruth. He is a MacArthur Fellow and also the founder and director of Community Music Works in Providence. And then we have the Music in Schools Initiative New Haven programs. That's our program. And our vision, Music in Schools is a space for connecting people through music learning. And our vision is to see every student discovering, developing, honing, and sharing their music talents with others while applying the learned skills to the many dimensions of their lives. Our mission is to provide an excellent individual and meaningful music experience and mentorship to our students. Music in Schools lives the ethos of collaboration and partnership. We are not replacing music educators. Nobody can do that. Nobody can deal with 450 kids weekly teaching them music. We are collaborating. We are going to join their amazing work, and we're bringing expertise in specific instruments to support their work in the schools. We are in touch in a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis with Ellen Most. She is the supervisor of visual and performing arts for the New Haven Public Schools. And we coordinate every single activity from application registration, communications to concert, etc., etc., etc. Every single program we have has three main elements: New Haven Public School music teachers, Yale School of Music teaching artists, and New Haven Public School students, grade 3rd to 12th. And we have three main programs. The first one is the in-school mentorship. That's when a teaching artist go to a New Haven public school and collaborate during the music class, teaching instruments in private lesson or small group settings. We are beginning slowly after the pandemic. So before the pandemic, this program, we were serving around 350 kids weekly. Because of COVID and the differences between COVID policies between the New Haven public schools and Yale, this program is beginning slowly right now in a post-pandemic world. We have the after-school program. The name is the All City Ensembles. And those are New Haven public school students from different schools join a weekly ensemble practice. A team of New Haven public school music teachers and teaching artists conduct, rehearse, and prepare the repertoire that will be performed in concert at the end of each semester. Our end of the semester concert is coming soon, December 12th. It will be at Woolsey Hall. Strings will perform at 5 p.m. Choirs will perform at 6 p.m. and bands will perform at 7 p.m. You are all invited, and I will make sure that I can send you that reminder through Karen and her office. So this year's theme of teachers is as follows. The choir, we have Danielle Story, Wilbur Cross choir teacher, Wilbur Cross High School, Jacqueline DeMarco, Career High School choir teacher, Megan Sheehan, Betsy Ross, Magnet School choir teacher, and Stephanie Tubiolo. She is a Yale School of Music alumna, and she has been one of our team members for several years. We have the string orchestra in Camerata. The conductors are Natalie Jimenez and Jesus Cortez. We have the concert band, the wind ensemble, and the jazz ensemble. Conductors, Jose Lara, Jesus Cortez, that I mentioned earlier, Kenny Georges, Connor Holland, Vivian Kung. We have a creative music making class. That's a composition class. And we have a guitar ensemble too. And the third program we have are the vacation programs. That's the winter and the spring festivals running during the spring and winter vacation for the New Haven Public Schools. And the Morse Summer Music Academy, a 4-week-long intense music program that runs during the summer from 8:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. And students receive the following classes: seminar studio class by instrument, chamber music ensemble, large ensemble, music theory, and each kid will be performing two kinds of performances during the week. One is the pop-up concert in different locations around New Haven, and the other one is a concert at the Sprague Hall or Woolsey Hall. Traditionally, Morse Academy has been acceptance by audition model, but we have waived that requirement while we continue rebuilding after COVID. How do we select our teaching artists? They apply, we interview them, and we train them before they begin to teach. How do we select our students? We send applications, the information, we meet with teachers, we visit schools, we encourage families to apply. They submit also the registration forms designed by the Yale program with minors office, and nobody needs to audition. They just need the teacher's recommendation to be part of our programs. At Yale, over the years, we have been building some amazing partnerships. One of them, my favorite one, but don't tell anyone, is with Claudia's office. Also with the Yale Divinity School, also with the Yale Art Gallery, Jessica Sachs. We get a performance space during the summer, and also our kids get the opportunity to have guided tours at the Yale Art Gallery. Beinecke Library also as a concert location. And this summer we are planning to have visits to their collection too. Before the pandemic, we were going to the Yale Peabody Museum. We hope that we will return in the following year. With Yale bands, Professor Tom Duffy, with the Yale Glee Club. We have an amazing partnership with professors Jeff Doma and now Dr. Felicia Barber. They support their students to join our program, and somehow they have been adapting their schedules to allow them be part of music in schools. That's fantastic. And we are exploring new ways to partner with Yale Camerata. Partnerships in New Haven with Neighborhood Music School, with Music Haven, with the New Haven Symphony Orchestra, with the New Haven Free Public Library, again, a concert location during the summer. We hope that we will come back. And with our friends at Arte, Danny and David. They have been hiring some of our Music in Schools initiative alums to be mentors in their program. At the Yale School of Music, we partner with the Norfolk Festival and with a collection of musical instruments. Now I would like to talk about my team. This year I have 4 extraordinary individuals working with Music in Schools. Alexandra Green, she's the manager of programs. She's a master's student at the Yale Divinity School in Religion and Literature. Lauren Bond, she is the Yale Glee Club Service through Music Fellow, and she's the manager of choirs. We have Vivian Kung, tuba player, Yale School of Music alumna, as our postgraduate fellow, and also Connor Holland, trumpet player, Yale School of Music alum, as a postgraduate fellow. This end of the year, this beginning of the post-pandemic life, we have been concentrating our efforts in 3 main concepts: rebuild, reconnect, and recruit. We are rebuilding from scratch. We are rethinking everything we do. We are trying to be smarter, and we are trying to be more compassionate about what COVID left behind. We are trying to understand what families are experiencing, what students are experiencing, what music teachers are experiencing, and adapting to those needs. And currently we have 140 students participating in our after-school program. They are representing 20 New Haven public schools. We have an attendance rate above 90%. And we are happy to report that we are back in person. 1st September, nothing of these things that I just mentioned existed. And it was hard work and a coordinated effort from many different amazing supporters, including our friends at the New Haven Public Schools, and also the Music in Schools Initiative team, and the support of the Yale School of Music. Now, the second story for the day is the story of the student to become a mentor, that becomes a mentor and person who was inspired to inspire. So this season we were needing a saxophone player, a percussionist, a saxophone teaching artist, a percussion teaching artist, and a conductor. After looking everywhere, our team identified 3 candidates, and they were the strongest, and all of them are part of our community of alums. Our saxophone teaching artist, Kenny George, he's a Hill House High School alum, and he's a specialist in jazz. Our percussion teaching artist, Juan Manny Boone, he's a Career High School alum and a Southern Connecticut State University student, and he will be with us this spring. And the other one is Jesus Cortez, the 7th grader who joined the before school program at John C. Daniels. Now he's a master's in music education from UConn and an amazing music teacher. His superpower is the way he connects with kids. He's one of the conductors of our bands. All of them are different. All of them are unique, and all of them are working together. And one of the meanings of the word community that I was finding is different elements moving together. And that made me think about an ensemble, a music ensemble where every instrument has a role and everyone is doing something special. And then the final story of the day is from far away in time and space to our heart. So 20 years ago in Colombia, a whole generation of composers, educators, performers, and conductors, I was part of that group, created a band movement that changed thousands of lives and shaped the cultural life of hundreds of communities around Colombia. 2 weeks ago, on November 17th, my son, David, a music major at Vanderbilt University and a Wilberforce High School alum, connected with some of them, some of those musicians and community that I met during that period of my life. The conductor, Rubén Darío Gómez, composer and conductor, and a guest soloist coming to perform that concert at Vanderbilt, Lina Martinez, percussionist. She was part of the program I was running with Yamaha. The repertoire was music from 4 different regions in Colombia, and for concert band and advanced level. Colombian music is a mix of 3 main sources: African music, indigenous people music, and Spanish music. So this concert included that diversity of Colombian music. And I don't know if you watched the movie Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. Okay, all that diversity that you see there, that's Colombian. You cannot say Colombians are this way or that way. We are like colorful at so many levels. And this music was performed by different generations of musicians, connecting different generations of musicians, performed by the Vanderbilt University students in Nashville, Tennessee, for the local community, and live streamed to the world. I would like to listen to it again. That was our clip at the beginning. The name piece is Fandanguillo, composed by Victoriano Valencia. And this is the ending clip of the concert. So that day, that recording is from my son's David phone. He's far from home. He's in Nashville. And for that concert, he was in the painful aftermath of a major medical crisis. At the beginning of the semester, he had an accident that kept him in intense pain for more than 6 weeks and unable to attend classes. And this concert healed him. For him, it was healing. It was to connect with his Colombian life, his family, his friends, his dad. And maybe that's one of the things that music does. It connects us in a way that we're able to move and meet each other across time and space, across culture, circumstance, and condition. And in a very real sense, David, my friends, and I, we were all able to encounter each other and our memories through that performance. Music comforts us. It's a way in which we are able to reach out to our unique skills, talents, and tastes into the particular conditions and needs of some of those around us. And it allows both audience and performer to take away what they want and they need from it. And that particular piece was healing for David, for me. And it was different from the joy that you can see from the performers and conductors, and the excitement of the audience. And my dream, and we will work hard to make it happen. We will play that Fandanguillo piece with our New Haven students here in New Haven. And I would love to see you all there. So let's keep playing together and building community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rubén.
Thank you, Rubén.
Thank you so much. I have, everyone has the ability to unmute themselves, so please feel free to ask any questions, make any comments. You can also put those in the chat and I will read those out as well.
I'm happy to start. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Rubén. I was taking notes throughout, and then I heard the boiled eggs explode. So I had to run for 20 seconds and then come back. So if you saw me jump, that's what it was. My apology. I have many notes. That which stands out for me were these words. That music converts us, and you itemized a variety of different ways, and you used the words connection across time, space, circumstance, and condition. And you asked a question at the beginning, which was around what emotion does music conjure? And I think I immediately felt energy, but from a couple of different places in that video, which was the musicians and the conductor in their body language, the selection and its movement and pace, and the audience. And so I was I was trying to decouple where the energy was coming from for me, and I couldn't decouple. And I wrote that it's sort of music converts us because it's a collective. So I, on my little notes, I have music converts us, dot, 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 dot. And I wanted to answer the question for myself. And I struggled to separate the three, but I think what your talk is about has many dimensions, but I think I'll walk away with community building, so many different levels. And so to answer the question you presented at the beginning, it is the collection of at least for me, the three elements. And something that felt unusual, because my mental model around orchestra has the audience subdued. And I say that as an African-American female growing up in New Haven, that my connection to music was, and I'm gonna date myself, albums and records played at home, in church. And I go to a Black church. And so participation is the expression. It is the way that music converts us. And I was, my bias came out around, wow, people clapping and moving in rhythm. And even when they stood up, like there was a row of people who stood up, and I was struggling with, is that what orchestra is? And is that what engagement is that you're trying to create? So that was a very long way of asking, is your conversion, is your hope as music continues to convert, that it impacts both the performers, the audience, and the space?
My vision right now about music goes beyond the concert hall, and the way I think about this is how to inspire every single student we have in our program to become that powerful catalyzer of cultural transformation through art when they go into their communities, family, school, college, work. And it keeps me thinking the power of the seeds you put into the lives of the kids. What's happening with Kenny, with Jocelyn, with Jesus, with Juan is powerful, and it will continue growing. So beyond the concert hall, there is a richness and a potential that really is my passion. But when I was crying when I listened to that music, literally I was crying in front of my computer, and I couldn't stop listening to it. I couldn't.
Hola, Rubén.
Hola, Gabriel, ¿cómo estás?
Good. We miss you at the gym in the morning. We'll get you back.
I am going to Milford.
So it's wonderful seeing you, and I'm sending thoughts for your son and everyone's recovery that they're doing well. But I have two questions. Again, we'll catch up again. I have two questions about the program. You mentioned you have about 140 students so far, and I'm just curious what your goal number is. So that's the first question. What number do you sort of target that would be to really have the kind of reach you're looking for? And then the second question is a little bit related to what Deb asked. I'm curious, what styles of music do you focus on? So clearly, I think you've got some jazz, work that you do with your students, some classical music that you work with your students. And so I'm just kind of curious, do you explore any other types of, whether it's rhythm and blues or more contemporary type of music? Do your students experience any of the hip hop experience that's out there with, different types of electronic medium, et cetera? So yeah, just kind of curious about those two things, the number that you shoot for and the types, genres that your program focuses on. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. The numbers, I have been, my goal in mind is to reach a number between 600 and 700 students in our programs. that was more or less the number of kids we were serving before the pandemic. So I would like to get to that number, and we are planning everything around that goal. The second question, we do explore many different kind of music. For the creative music making, kids are writing electronic music, songwriting, pop, hip hop, experimental music. For the ensembles, we have music from everywhere. The choir is especially rich at that approach. They are like a rainbow of possibilities about styles and languages and composers, and it's amazing. So yeah, we try to go as wide and wild as the repertoire available allows us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have actually a few comments and questions in the chat. I just want to make sure we review before we move on. One is a friend of mine. Well, actually, just to back up, Rubén is also a visual artist. You can see the work behind him. He did that, and a friend of mine just shared a link for some books that he has illustrated. So I want everyone to take a look at that. So lots of kudos, Rubén. We're so blessed to have you. Awesome, Rubén. Mil gracias. Wonderful story, Rubén. Thank you for sharing. Fallon asked, well, she commented that it was an excellent presentation. Is there any outreach or engagement with local community centers, for example, the Q House or Boys and Girls Club?
Thank you very much, Fallon, for that question. We have in our agenda to approach our colleagues at the Q House. It will happen hopefully in January. We would like to explore ways in which we could collaborate and partner. We will continue deepening our connections with everyone in town about the Boys and Girls Club. I don't know yet. That would be like a next step. Some of our teaching artists in the past, they have been working through the Glee Club with the Boys and Girls Choir. So we go slowly, but the Q House is on our agenda. Is one of the things that is going to happen soon.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I just want to share that I am a mother of a participant of the New Haven Schools Initiative, More Summer Academy, and All City. And I want to thank Rubén for the work that him and his staff does in the community. Some of the benefits I've seen are real great confidence in the youth, seeing them stand on stage, introduce the music, and just be, knowledgeable about a lot of different things. I remember studying of German music and just so many different life experiences that they get during their time participating in the program. One of the things I've seen over the years is a building of network for these students as we participate in state and some of the other local activities. They see other people and create lasting relationships. So even networking with the New Haven teaching artists and local teachers, I've had to reach out to Rubén, when my work is looking for teaching artists to support. So your work extends in so many different areas, and it's been such an amazing blessing for my family, and I want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one more closing comment to share to close out our breakfast this morning. Anita wrote, "Thank you for beautifully showcasing and portraying your love of music through storytelling, community, family, and education. All the more reason to continue to support music education, access, and opportunity across the board. Brava, Ruben." And I want to say thank you very much for sharing your passion and your heart with us this morning. Wonderful presentation. Please join me again in thanking Ruben
Thank
for
you.
joining us this morning. I want to wish everyone a warm,
Thank
happy,
you.
and healthy set of holidays, and we do hope to see you all in the new year. Thank you again. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.